So I always just like to start with a simple question, Alex, of, what did you like about the Love to Learn Study Skills program? What did we not like? What would be your overall feedback?
Uh, I actually I thought it was really useful throughout the whole thing. Um, uh, as for what could be improved, um, I don't, I don't really know. It's like I'm like thinking we wrote everything down most of the time. We did the charts when we had to, like with note taking and goal setting and reward system. We
Mm-hmm.
had those charts, so I don't really know what I could add to that.
Okay.
Uh, but I think it was useful. It was helpful to try and really write everything down, like get all your thoughts. Like these study skills before, but they're really like kind of um put into action is good. So I thought it was pretty good.
Awesome. Is there a certain skill, Alex, that you thought you needed help with? I mean, is there something that you hope to learn from the program kind of going in?
I think note taking was like the biggest learning thing for me because before that I didn't really know how to take notes. I just kind of I wrote what I thought was useful, what I didn't think was useful. I didn't really organize it. Just wrote it in kind of a pile on the paper. So that was pretty useful.
Nice. So what did you change based on what we talked about?
I did change a little bit. I used highlighters a little bit more to kind of like color code stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then I think we talked about your bullets too. If I remember right, you didn't do that before. Isn't that what I remember?
Yeah, I didn't really do bullets. I kind of just like wrote it randomly.
Okay. So the notes are hopefully more useful now.
Yeah, it's definitely more useful.
Awesome. Okay. And then how did we end up working together? Like, was it something that you asked your parents for? I mean, did you say, "Hey, mom, dad, I need help with my study skills"? I mean, how did we end up here?
I think my mom told me about it at first, and then I said, "Yeah, let's do it."
Nice. So this is something you wanted to do. This is something that you were interested in from the beginning.
Uh, I didn't know actually from the beginning, but my mom like told me about it, and I was like, "Yeah, let's maybe yeah, it could be useful."
Gotcha. Okay. And do you feel like senior year was the best time to learn these skills, or would they have been useful a different time?
It probably would have been useful like earlier.
Hmm. Any particular grade or age, Alex, that you're like, this would have been the perfect time to learn them?
Uh, I think maybe like before high school or something. That would have been nice.
Hmm.
Or maybe sophomore year, that probably would have been really good to have it at that time.
Hmm. Because from your perspective as a teen, I mean, do you feel like you need the skills when things start to get rough, or do you feel like having the skills in place before things get rough would be better?
I'd say before the things get rough, but I think since stuff was rough during sophomore year, that would have been a good time to learn.
Hmm. So if we didn't have them beforehand, at least when we were having problems, we could have learned them and maybe made a difference during that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, if there were other teens trying to decide whether to go through the program, what would you tell them? Any advice for fellow classmates, younger or older?
I think that's like that kind of depends, because if someone's already like I don't want to say I guess no one's perfect, but if someone already like is a really good student, they might not need it as much. But if it's like someone that's struggling, I guess academically and with like retaining info and learning stuff, I'd probably recommend it because I'm saying if you actually apply these things, it might help you get better.
Hmm. Definitely. Now, here's a question for you. I know you said sophomore year was rough for you, but other than that, I mean, would you say you're not a good student?
No, I think before sophomore year, maybe throughout, I know elementary school doesn't really count, but definitely throughout middle school and most of high school, I guess. I was okay. I was pretty good. Um, After sophomore year, I mean, sophomore year was a really bumpy thing. And then junior year was kind of recovery, so it was like it was better. I wasn't really like back to normal, but it was like um I was getting better. Senior year has been actually I think it's been one of the best so far because I'm like kind of worried. I don't want to be vulnerable to something like that again, so I'm making sure everything stays up.
Hmm.
I think that was one of the main reasons my mom decided to go through with this to because I was struggling academically at the time. Junior year I was getting better, but I was still struggling a little bit. So
Because that's what I wonder. I hear all the time, Alex, that yeah, from parents, my kid is doing fine. He doesn't need these skills, but I see it all the time. Like you just told me things were fine until suddenly sophomore year, and then you just said too, okay, I would have liked to have these skills sooner. That's what I see all the time. Is I would like for students, for teens to learn how to learn, go through these study skills before they ever have problems. Because I'm wondering if you had these skills before sophomore year, I mean, do you think sophomore year would have been anywhere near as bumpy, as near anywhere as rough as it was?
uh that's kind of difficult to answer. Probably wouldn't have been as bad, but uh I think not every reason was like academic. There's stuff going on outside of school at the time, so I guess not every reason was academic for that.
Hmm. And I agree. And that's part of the reason I like to do what I do is that, yeah, I can help with this part, right? Like, exactly. Like you say, on the academic side. And yet there's so many things connected to academics. Like it sounds like better than maybe some other teens your age. But yet, if the academic skills had been in place, maybe the other stuff wouldn't have impacted it as much.
Yeah,
So,
I guess so.
mhm.